All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin our next session titled Beyond Checkout, How Payment Aggregators Are Becoming Full-Stack Merchant Platforms. Please allow me to welcome on stage with a huge round of applause our esteemed panelists for this session, Mr. Amit Kumar, co-founder and CTO, Easebuzz. Can we also put our hands together for Mr. Kunal Rana, Director, Merchants, Google Pay India. Mr. Manas Mishra, CPO, PayU Payments. Joining them is Mr. Amit Hooja, founder and CEO, Paysecure Technology. And this session is going to be moderated by Mr. Hemant Vishnoi, founder, Enkash. Welcome to all of our panelists. And now I'll hand over the further proceedings of the session to our moderator, Mr. Hemant. Over to you.
Hey, great. Good afternoon, everyone. We have our esteemed panelists here, payment experts in their domain. I think it will be a very, very insightful session from them. Starting from specifically, around when we are talking about moving away from the checkout to a holistic platform. I think, in last 25 years, as far as India is concerned, the syllabus of payments have always changed in last every 5 years, right? When we are talking about starting from 2000, it was all net banking. 5 years later, it was travel and airlines, which actually came into play. 2010 to 2015, if you look at, it was all e-commerce and the food delivery and the solutions around it. Payment aggregator was, seeking or, providing. Lately, between 2015 and 2020, if you look at demonetization, QR, UPI came into play, and the solutioning around that was built. I just wanted to, take your insight. What has happened between 2020 and 2025 in last 5 years? What was the syllabus so far? I mean, if each one of you can actually, provide some kind of insights. Starting with Kunalia.
Audible? Yeah. Yeah, I think last 5 years has been an amazing journey. I think if I was to rewind 5 years back, I think payment used to be all about reliability, acceptance, basic pipes. And now we have evolved to an era of unified commerce. And that's been quite a journey. I think 5 years back, everyone was focused on transaction success rates. Those were really low. And it's been a journey that the industry has taken over the last 5 years to improve that. There's been a lot of focus on building the trust in QR codes, laying down the basic infrastructure for the business on which we are riding. And then from this era of reliability and acceptance, I think online has transitioned faster to the commerce era. For offline, because GPay plays in both the spaces, it's been a slightly more circuitous route. We also had to build an engagement. People had to be educated on and trusted to engage on QR codes. Merchant had to grow their engagement. So a lot of effort went into developing features and services which drove engagement with our Google Pay for Business app, for example. Things like launching the SoundPod, lending, and a lot of non-payment features that built the engagement. But now firmly in both online and offline businesses, I think the game is about commerce. If I was to rewind 5 years back, the world was about, hey, don't lose my sale just because of a payments reason. And now we have transitioned to a world where people are saying, okay, payments is there, but how do you grow my business? From being a cost of doing business, it's more like, hey, what is the value addition that payment can bring to the table? So that's been a big journey. And I think we are at a very interesting juncture. Just when a more holistic commerce partnership was being made between payment aggregators and merchants, we have this advent of AI, which changes everything. From providing transaction-based intelligence, we are now again transforming into, let's say, automation and taking action proactively. So that's an exciting phase, and it's pretty much here already. it's difficult to keep track of all the news. So it's been quite a journey, and yeah, I think we've been loving it, and a lot of action going forward as well.
Great. What's your experience, Manas?
Yeah, so you asked how the syllabus has changed in the last 5 years. So we got a very big out-of-syllabus question, which is COVID, right? And so what changed after that? Let's understand when we're talking about beyond checkout, what changed in the last 5 years? So 5 years back, I think even if you look at the largest, most trusted merchants, 70% plus of their transaction was still cash on delivery. That has changed, right? So more and more people are now doing online transactions, paying online. More and more people are now using digital channels to purchase things, right? That's why you are seeing quick commerce, D2C merchants coming in. So you have got this new set of users, new set of merchants, and a movement towards online payment. What that means is people like us who are like payment processors, who are thought as maybe the people who are providing the plumbing lines, we suddenly become the strategic partners for the merchants, right? Because we understand the consumers, we understand the needs, we understand the regulator. So we can now provide a lot of strategic collaboration with merchants to kind of power their business. So let's talk about some of the things that Kunal mentioned. Let's talk about what that means, right? So as a payment processor, we understand a consumer behavior because we see that consumer across a lot of merchants, right? So now, for example, I can say Hemant is a affluent consumer who likes to purchase high-ticket items, right? So that insight I can always provide to a merchant, and based on that, they can personalize their behavior, their pages, their experience to you, right? For a small merchants, we talked about a lot of new merchants coming into the picture now. So for a small merchants like a D2C merchant or a quick commerce merchant, who probably do not have as much tech bandwidth, as much understanding of the regulatory landscape. So we suddenly become that partner who can power a lot of the things. Like so our stance has been to tell the merchants that, hey, you worry about your core business, which is providing great products, providing the right selections. Let us take care about a lot of other things which will enable commerce. Whether it is acquiring the right customers, using the right intelligence, right data, whether it is retaining the customers, again, using the intelligence, whether it is doing the operational things that you would have done manually, right? Kunal referred to AI. So a lot of this recon across a lot of platforms that you have to do manually, a lot of these things now is automated, and we provide that to our merchants. So going from plumbing business, just providing the rails, I think we have slowly transitioned into becoming the strategic partners and growth enablers for merchants. And one of the things we should be very comfortable now speaking about is, see, in the past, when we refer to India or when you refer to any industry in India, we always use present continuous. It is developing country, it's a growing industry, it is moving ahead. Let's now behave like leaders, guys. We are now the best fintech platform. We have the largest user base. We have the most mature payment platform here. So now I think we have sorted that part. Like, so what about the transaction part, the issues that were there? I think we have grown past that. Now it's about growing. Now it's about enabling commerce, taking it to the next step by providing data and intelligence. I think that's how I look at 5 years is a long period. I think we've seen a lot of changes, but next 5 years is also going to be very interesting.
Superb. So essentially, it's between commerce and the kind of stability which has come in last 5 years. Great. Amit Kumar, I mean, especially from your side, right? I mean, when you started Easebuzz and now, what transition you have seen?
So basically, all these years, what we see that we fintechs have moved from simply moving money to moving entire businesses. And what we see that there's a larger opportunity, while these businesses needs deeper solutions to solve their business operations around, where they need a lot of hand-holding around, handling compliances, frauds, and all of those complex integrations they require to solve their business criticals. So, where we see that businesses have fintechs have pivoted to some kind of strengths, like some have focused on AI featured, solutions. Some has featured international payments, some has featured or kind of pivoted themselves to, omni-channel payment experience. Where we, as in Easebuzz, we pivoted around the vertical SaaS solutions on top of the payment infrastructure, where we see that these SaaS solutions can be sacketized or can be offered over plug-and-play APIs, where that can marry to their existing ecosystem of the processes without replacing them and enhance the seamless experience what their customers can avail. So it's about enabling them to become fintech themselves. So that's why we see that the future is coming out as an embedded finance, and with the advent of AI, like Kunal said, with the advent of AI, the next 5 years going to be more interesting. The emerging technologies coming in now. We can transact over, with biometric and the face detection is coming along, and we have seen a lot of, launches happening around. I guess,
today is actually, payments through biometrics. So yeah, interesting one.
Yeah, so it's going very interesting. I see it's very transformation, and if I can relate, with one example, like, where we have seen problems vertically, like, every domain has a different problems altogether with their business operations. So we will suppose, for instance, we have looked at the education domain. We see that the collection journey was fragmented, broken, and we have solved it with with our comprehensive solutions, fees portals in per se. But what what the power we get in this ecosystem is the availability of DPIs. So if I relate to that situation where we fintechs can ride on these DPIs and reach the escape velocity faster. So we have married BPS as an DPI in our fees portal, and now that has brought that convenience and exposure to the customers that it is available to everyone now. So that's transformational.
Amit, I think it will be interesting to know the global perspective from you, right? And especially around the syllabus. And did you also face any kind of out of syllabus question in last 5 years?
Look, 5 years is a long time. I think industry changes almost every year. And look, there is a lot of innovation happening. And if we look back, long back, this used to be a bank business. This wasn't us. This wasn't innovators. Now, because of regulators being open and lots of innovation happening at the platform level, things like banking as a service, platform level, layer level, APIs being available. Lots of smart people have come in. And if you look at ecosystem, there's thousands of companies innovating at different places, different areas. Somebody taking from AI, somebody accelerating because of COVID, somebody solving some specific use case for a specific industry. And because of a lot of that innovation, the ecosystem is growing and the complexity is growing. And the suite and array of things that you can choose from is growing. And suddenly, now you can solve some of the business problems which you cannot think of solving in the past. And that's the key game changer. It's keep increasing, the ecosystem keep increasing. People keep innovating. Some experiments fail, some experiments scale up, and then they become the part of ecosystem. So from an overall perspective, this openness and this increase of ecosystem, it's allowing innovation to happen at individual pieces and individual areas of businesses. And that's a big change, because now no longer it is about just taking the money from point A to point B. It's something banks did, and they were slow, they were horrible to work with. They're
Some of them are still around here.
So no, good one. Thanks for a good reminder. Sorry, guys. That is a opening piece, and it's allowing value-add services to come in and innovate at various parts of the ecosystem. And there are challenges around fraud. There are challenges around around how the loyalties should be handled, how various other parts of businesses interact with various APIs. So all of that being solved, and that's changing every year. I would say every 6 months.
Sure. I think, for the benefit of the audience, I think it will be important to, go a little deeper into our conversation, especially when we are talking about such a kind of a movement. And Amit, actually you mentioned about vertical SaaS and embedded banking, embedded checkouts. What exactly is driving, for the benefit of audience, if you can kind of, explain what is exactly driving this move? Is it some kind of a compulsion, or you see that it is actually adding some kind of a value, or there is a demand which is coming from the market?
So while you may see that a large part of ecosystem, all these businesses are in part of somewhere they're in digitization journey, right? So while they require a lot of handholding, while they digitize their operation, automate it, right? So where we see that they need more than a checkout solution, right? It's not just payment orchestrations, where a particular problem for an industry is very specific to their business operation. So as I kind of spoken, there are businesses who suppose they are the businesses who are in real estate. So their business complexities are different, right? Where their established processes are already in SAPs of the world or Ramco and all. But how you can solve problems in getting inside their ecosystem, how you extend your services into their ecosystem while you still handle all the compliances within your infrastructure. So how you extend the products and the workflows wrapped around the plug and play APIs, and which is convenient for them to consume it, and or not just for them, they can kind of get it extended to their set of customers, right? Because it's actually you are enabling them to become fintech themselves. So there I see that that there are large value creation which is required. If I if I kind of put in some sense there, that B2C has seen a lot of innovation, right? Now when we recognize that there are a lot of complexity and cumbersomeness there in the B2B side, where how we kind of tackle at Easebuzz is where we enable them with the kind of a inclusion of another kind of a DPI, like B2B Bharat Connect for their vendor payments. We streamline their utility payments for their different needs, and via the BPS channel, we bring in the convenience from the connected banking seamless experience for them, for their set of customer, and give them a unified journey. We are also working on streamlining their GST payments at the same place, so that they do not have to kind of handle this complexity with large set of team with a lot of manual error on operations around it. So I see we are converging towards a larger ecosystem.
Okay, great. I think when you mentioned about such kind of a innovation or such kind of a movement, I think Manas, it will be great to understand from you that when we are talking about such kind of innovative solutions, specifically around different products in payments, there are compliances also, especially from the regulator. And recently we have seen such kind of compliances also coming in. So in your opinion or in your view, when we talk about what is the kind of balancing act any payments platform or a fintech platform can do, and how do you see it? Is it actually slowing the speed of innovation, or is it actually something else?
Okay, so let me start with a small story, first-hand story, and then I'll go to detail of your question, right? So, I was in my previous role, I was heading payments product for a large merchant. So one day, one of my team member comes and shows me a message saying that there is a payment has been deducted from her account for our competing e-commerce platform, right? And there were 5 of us. We are all payment experts, sitting there and figuring out how this happened when this person has not actually done the transaction, right? And we were thinking, oh, maybe our competition has launched something new feature, new product, how this happened. And it took us a long time to figure out that it was a subscription she has done long back and she has forgotten about it. So what I'm referring to is the subscription guideline that came out a little later than that, right? So, and what it does, it protects the user, right? So if you look at regulator, generally wherever you see any industry that is growth, the regulation is going to follow. And regulator is always looking at protecting the most vulnerable part of the society. We as power users of payment might find it as adding to friction, but I think it is important, as I mentioned in the first answer, that we have new set of users, new set of Indian public that is coming to online, they're doing transaction online. It is important that we protect them and build trust. It's our job to kind of take that regulation, build the best experience for the users. Short term, it's a pain, definitely. It slows us down in that sense, but I think it's much better in the longer term. And now let's talk about a few examples, right? Again, 3 years back, regulators said that merchants cannot keep plain card details of the users, right? And it came after they were concerned about data leakages. Initially, all of us complained saying that, hey, this is disruptive, this is going to kind of reduce the success rate, this is going to, more transactions will drop off, people are not going to transact. Once the dust has settled down, it has taken a lot of effort from the industry to kind of build the solution, but once the dust has settled down, if you look at the data, the card success rate, now the benchmark has shifted, right? If I would say earlier it was average 80%, credit card and debit card, that has gone up to 90%, right? So, and because of now, because of the card is tokenized, you can do a lot of risk-based decisioning on that, right? So it has given us kind of leverage to build new set of experience, new set of solutions. I also talked about subscription, right? Subscription, what basically it does, it protects the user, saying that, hey, there is one place where you can go, see all your subscription, edit it, delete it. Before the payment is debited, you get a notification saying that it's going to be debited. So as a user, you are always aware of it. So if you see all the regulatory changes that happen in the past is to, again, protect the user, and we have to take it in that spirit. My kind of request to the group here, because we are all part of the FinTech family, is let's take the regulation in the right spirit, not just the letter, but right spirit. Anybody who tries to play in the gray area, I think, try to take advantage of it, it's not going to sustain, right? So let's take it in the right spirit, let's understand why this is coming in, then let's build the experience, let's build the next set of products based on that. I think as we build more trust in the user base, it is only going to bring more users online. And if we go back, again, 15 years back, if this OTP thing was not there, which is a real friction point, I think we would have far less users using the cards online, right? Because there is a second factor authentication is there, people are comforted to use it. We are obviously now getting into the next stage of doing risk-based authentication, using other forms of authentication. But all of this is actually evolving with the evolving market, at the same time making sure you're protecting the most vulnerable part of the society.
Great insights, I think, So Manas actually, talked about fraud prevention and the kind of, measures which are being, taken by the regulators. And it is our responsibility and duty as well to implement such products as a part of, our platform. Amit, a question, yeah, okay, sorry, Amit Hooja. So I think that brings to a next one, which could be an interesting one. Are the businesses ready to pay such kind of for such kind of a services when we are talking about fraud prevention, analytics, reconciliation, reporting, kind of solutions, and which can actually help, right, to the users and the customers of that merchant?
Yeah, so look, I would glue in with the global perspective because that's my background. Look, every industry, if you look at every industry, there's an immense amount of globalization happening. The businesses are going scale, businesses are going global. Every industry is getting kind of manufactured again. And you have new entrants coming, and they are operating at a global scale, which brings lots of opportunity for optimization, for bringing the efficiency, process efficiency, cost efficiency for end user customer, and customer benefits clearly from that. Now, if you look at payments, which is an industry which is going in other direction. So payments are fragmented. Payments are continuously getting more and more regionalized. There is a big push from regulators to move away from global networks and build regional rails. And that creates huge complexity. Also, look, payments are zero-sum game. You know, they are going to zero. I mean, it's highly competitive. Margins are super thin. So there is a lot of value add from players like us. Number one, bringing it all together, reducing the complexity, creating one single layer of API on all the complexity. So various flows of payments can be done in a proper way, and you can build a data visualization layer on top of it, so businesses can take right decisions. And not only from a management decision perspective, there is an aspect about using data insights for actionable insights within the payment flow. So while the payment flow is happening, you can risk size the transaction, you can attach metadata to it, and see where, like to what Manas was saying, there is enough data in the ecosystem, number one, we've seen the customer before, or we have other data points available which allows us to create fraud scores, trust scores, and be able to route the transaction properly, whether first of all accept it or not, and then route the transaction properly. Businesses at the end of the day want invisible payments. So they don't want us to be involved anywhere in the layer as a payments company. And that's how it should be. Look, when the customer is ready to pay for something, that's the last thing you can do is you bring them some other friction. So anything you can do in the back end from the fraud check perspective, anything you can do from the intelligence perspective, and create the user journey which is seamless, that's the best case scenario for the overall ecosystem. And that's the value add, which you can, at the end of the day, create value and charge businesses for.
Makes sense. I think, it's a great point. Especially now, Kunal, I mean, considering that, you come from Google and GPay, especially, Amit Hooja mentioned about actionable insights, transaction data. And so my question is, again, just continuing that discussion, especially around this transaction data, do you see it as a source of intelligence than just a settlement where, you can help merchant to take right decision on the pricing, maybe, some kind of a customer convenience or marketing decisions can be, built on that. How do you see it? And I remember that, in the beginning of our discussion, you mentioned about the commerce part as well. That will be good to, connect here as well.
Thanks. I think transaction data is a gold mine, but you need to mine it to create the gold. These AI-powered insights, I think I'll try and demystify the artificial intelligence part of the intelligence. There are three specific intelligences that Google Pay for Business focuses on. And the first one is the intelligence of trust. I think if you look at transaction data by itself, it does not have much value. It is just a system of record. To convert it to a system of intelligence and trust, what we need to do is track it over time. And a great example is if you look at how merchant lending has grown in India, it has allowed the transaction data to build millions of merchants eligible for credit. And this powers their business growth. right? So this transaction data has already proven to be a measure of trust and credibility, allowing lenders to lend credit. Another piece that we sort of maybe uniquely play a role in is when you look at Google Pay for Merchant app, it provides for merchants to update their photos, their reviews. They can ask customers for reviews. Customers can leave reviews that can be tracked on that app. And what it does over time, especially for newer, smaller merchants, is it builds a very credible reviews and ratings database. Now, if I'm a user who's searching for, let's say, a coaching center for mathematics around my area, and there is a new coach who has just sort of started that, and I see a rating which says 5-star, rated by 10 people, it builds a lot of trust. So transaction data through this approach builds a lot of trust, and that's the first type of intelligence that we are focusing on. The second type of intelligence that we are focusing on is the intelligence of customer engagement and acquisition. Now, you don't need sophisticated CRM tools to actually track what's happening to your customer base. Looking at the transaction data, we can very high level of accuracy, we can say who are the users or customers of yours who are not coming to your site or to your shop. These users, what is their behavior maybe beyond your site and shop, and hence, what is the right mechanism to engage them, to attract them? Are some of them price sensitive or not price sensitive? So there's a lot that can be done on customer engagement just using the transaction data. I think the other piece, which has typically been a difficult challenge for relatively smaller and mid-sized merchants, is growing their business and competing on marketing with large merchants. And that is where I think there's a big opportunity for us to play a role in terms of providing with marketing capabilities. It could be within the user journey, retargeting capabilities for people who drop out at the checkout. It could be creating a simplified interface for them to actually show ads that show up on multiple surfaces. So I think that this is another big area of intelligence, which powered by the insights from transactions can be really targeted and powerful. And finally is the intelligence of business operations. There are a lot of interesting things that can be done in adjacent spaces like billing, invoicing, inventory, ERP, and I think a lot of players are exploring that. But also very interestingly is you can now, using transaction data, create an AI business advisor. You could track this data, you could overlay the data from micro markets near that merchant, and you could power them with insights like, hey, this is what's happening in your micro market, are you doing this? This is the trend we are seeing in your data, are you doing this? Real-time inventory management is now possible by looking at transaction data. So all in all, if you look at these three types of intelligences, now payment aggregators can be a very solid digital transformation partner with a very holistic merchant sort of suite that can be brought to the table. Predictive analytics, customer engagement, digital marketing, everything is possible. So if you're a small and medium merchant, you're no longer disadvantaged. You're actually more nimble, and you can fight this guerrilla war with the larger merchants as well. So I think data is gold.
Great. Makes sense. So I already got instructions that, our 9 minutes are left. So we have to, quickly summarize our panel's discussion. Especially, and I'm taking the liberty again to say next 5 years rather than 1 year, Amit. So quickly, if you can kind of, summarize what do you think that will be next 5 years? What will be the battleground? What will be the next big challenge, or what will be we solving together for the payments and payments platform? Especially, do we see, we remaining as a niche player or niche specialist, or, providing an all-in-one financial operating system, or, moving away from, beyond all-in-one financial operating system? What exactly do you guys think? Anyone can summarize. I mean, Manas, you can.
Okay, so again, 5 years is a long time, and as human beings, we are not wired to think non-linear progress. We think linearly, right? We think growth is going to happen linear. Or we make abstract predictions about flying cars and all those things. So let me not get into that abstract prediction. Let me talk about what I think is right here, right now, what's going to happen. And let's talk about 3-4 things quickly. So one, and this refers to the launches that is happening in the last 1-2 days, payment failure to a genuine user because of friction in payments, I think that's going to go away. I think that should be zero. Though if you're a genuine user, you are holding that payment instrument with you, because of friction, the payment should not fail. That's going to happen in next 3 months, 6 months' time. I think as new set of users coming in, as we have a lot of things happening on UPI, credit, and all that, I think access to credit is going to be more democratized. So that's going to also grow faster, and that's going to give, again, impetus to growth of commerce. And what Amit Hooja would really like, I think I also strongly believe within next 12 to 18 months, commerce is going to be borderless. Borders are going to be on physical maps, but not on digital. So I think a lot of international commerce, cross-border payments is going to happen. So these things are, I think, linear prediction. Now, slightly different, but again, still something which is right here, right now. And going to the title of this session, Beyond Checkout. I think the way we today see checkout, that's not going to be the case in 12 months, 18 months' time. It's not going to be, checkout is not going to be a button, it's not going to be a screen. It's an AI agent doing the checkout on your behalf, talking to an AI agent of a commerce platform. And that's happening now. I think one of my team members was showing me something that ChatGPT launched 2 days back. It's on the SDKs for apps, right? So you can actually go and use any, like maybe in future WhatsApp or your ChatGPT app to say that, hey, book the most cost-effective travel plan for me, book the tickets, book the hotels, and it would do the search and do it for you. I think that's going to happen, again, within next 18 months. So I don't have the vision to think beyond that, but I think that's
Perfect,
here
perfect.
right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, 12 to 18 months would be the critical time. So let's stick to that. Amit Kumar, what do you think, I mean, between next 12 to 18 months, other than what Manas just mentioned about going beyond checkout?
Yeah, so mostly things, he's covered. But, what we see around in this ecosystem, the business models are getting complexer, right? It's going beyond, borders and, it's getting, converging everything together. So I see all the entities will be working on the same roadmap, like including banks, where there will be a clear set of accountability and the line would be drawn, where every entity will be sharing some risk framework, where everybody would do their part. And I see the embedded commerce which is going to come. AI with APIs would be the king, and that will bring the larger convergence of the ecosystem together.
Got it. Especially, if we are talking about Amit Hooja, again, coming back to you on from a global perspective, again, 12 to 18 months, and specifically around cross-border transactions and merchants, especially, Indian merchants who intend to, sell outside India. And then we both, right, Manas and Amit already mentioned about cross-border is going to be, booming in next couple of months or years. How do you see that coming in, and what kind of, solutioning that is going to evolve over the period of time?
Yeah, right. Look, there is huge amount of democratization, commoditization happening in terms of technology, and what is available in other parts of the world, it's available here. What is available here, it's available in other parts of the world. I can find everything that I can find in UK over here. Lot of talent pool is getting linearized. In fact, economies like India, where there's big push for both from the government perspective and also from the market dynamics perspective, India is one of the fierce markets to compete in, and businesses here. I think there is no reason they shouldn't be going and competing in the global world. With access to all the information, knowledge, AI, there's nothing stopping it. In fact, they should, because once they have conquered the India, look, there is a larger lucrative market available outside India. And it comes with high lifetime value consumers, capacity to pay higher. Also comes with higher cost of acquisition that sometimes we are not used to. So we have to be competitive, and from our role perspective, we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to make sure when they go live and when everybody decides to go global, and they have the customer, everything works, whether it's AI agent, whether it's checkout experience, whatever the trend is. And honestly, today we are saying it's AI agent, tomorrow it's going to be something else. And we have to keep up pace with that. We have to keep changing with that. And we're ready for that. From a global perspective, the biggest problem, like I said, there is regionalization, there's fragmentation of payments. There's currencies to be handled. There is cross-border compliances need to be handled, how the money moves, how do you get registered. So there is huge complexity in that. Now, if we can, our vision is, if we can bridge that gap, and suddenly you're connected to us, and moving to or expanding to a new country, far-reached country, is just easy, because you just need three things which are sorted. You need traffic, you need consumer, you need regulation piece sorted out. In some of the industries, that's no problem at all, because a lot of industry is digital footprint. And India, the way the talent pool is structured, there is going to be huge push for software as a service, products being built over here. Already new ideas are coming out there which can cater to the larger, bigger world. So there is no regulation piece stopping them. They can go and operate in Nigeria, they can go operate in Malawi, they can go operate in Brazil. Some of these economies are huge economies, and there's paying capacity out there available. So if we can bridge the payments piece right, and we all can work together on that, and give access to merchants from that perspective, resolve those complexity, help them understand the regionalization, and take away all that, then there's nothing stopping India. There's huge talent pool overall from that perspective. So that's the vision we have taken on from our perspective.
Great. Sorry, okay, Kunal, quickly, your views on maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then we'll open for audience.
Okay. I'll try and be
Sorry,
very
Kunal.
fast. No, I'll try to be fast. I think the future is AI. I'll qualify it by saying the future for payment aggregators is AI commerce. And I think there are two relatively small trends which are definitely more straightforward, and then a really complex one which I wanted to leave the audience with. One is everything payments will become invisible and intelligent. Things like real-time inventory management, all the transaction data pieces that I talked about, it will happen in the background and very, very intelligently. Wherever things can be automated, a human does not need to be in the loop, those things will come to life. The second thing, which is also very predictable, is destination purchases on merchants, like I think Manas, you alluded to, will evolve from being just a simple button for payment to bringing everything together across loyalty, affordability, offers, etc. Everything will come together, and it will be a holistic experience to boost the conversion. And that is going to be a big play for payment aggregators. But I think the real challenge, which is still evolving and we are tracking it closely, and everyone has their own approaches, is going to be the fundamental change on user shopping journeys, which are changing dramatically. If you look at the whole flow, and there are different frameworks that exist, but if you look at like the inspiration to the final purchase, whatever the intermediate steps you may call, those are changing dramatically. We are seeing users now use the Gemini Nano Banana to see how a dress looks on themselves, to how the interiors in their homes would look like. And they are using some of these experiences to really short circuit the entire inspiration to purchase journey. What used to happen on multiple tabs over multiple days, researching a TV, a mobile phone, etc., now happens extremely fast. What it also does is users are becoming more demanding. They have very, very unique personalized needs that, hey, I want this particular color, I want this particular specific thing. And if merchants need to cater to these very highly personalized demands that are coming in, it is important for small and medium merchants who have the long tail catalog to actually partner with the AI clients and make sure that they are present where the users are. I think that's the big opportunity that will happen in the next 5 years. And those payment aggregators who are able to provide these services to the merchants, help them be discoverable, help them drive the conversion in these agentic workflow, agentic user flows and user journeys. I think those would be the winners of the future, and that's where the industry is evolving. So exciting times ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and such insightful discussion. Thank you, audience. You are great as always. If someone is having some question, please take it offline. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. May I request you to please stand in front of the tables for a group photo? Ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together for our incredible panel? Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights.